Hello everyone, thank you for joining again. My name is Taylor and today I'm going to show you how to create your first GUI API. So first let's go ahead and open up your favorite text editor. I'm going to be using Kate today. So I'll click on Save to create the Python file and we'll name this API_GUI.py. Now that we have our Python file, let's go ahead and import a few modules. I'm going to be importing requests for our HTML content, JSON for parsing the HTML content, as well as tkinter to create our GUI. And I'm going to set the variable name as tk. So now let's create our main function. We'll say if __name __ double equals open quotations __ main __. Add a colon at the end. Now let's go ahead and create our GUI. So we'll say window as our variable name is equal to tk.TK open and close parentheses. This is instantiating our GUI. So now that we have this, let's go ahead and create our main loop by typing window.mainLoop. This allows our GUI to be shown until we close out the GUI ourselves. Now let's give the window a title. So we can say window.title open and close parentheses, open and close quotations, and in those quotations we'll give it API GUI. Let's save this. And what if we wanted our GUI to be a specific size? We can do that with getting the width and height of our monitor. Let's get that information now. So we would say width is equal to window dot winfo underscore screen width open and close parentheses. Let's do the same thing for height. Height is equal to window dot winfo underscore screen, and instead of width, height open and close parentheses. What this will do is dynamically get the user's width and height of their monitor and set it to this variable name width and height. Now that we have this information, let's go ahead and add these two together so that way tkinter can automatically generate our window GUI for us. We do that by typing window.geometry open and close parentheses, and in those parentheses we're going to send the str. We're going to cast the width as a string plus add an x here and then add another plus, and let's cast again our height. So what this is saying is cast the width and the height into a string so that way we can add an x between the width and the height numbers. For example, if our width was 500 and our height was 500, then this would be 500x 500. We set it this way so that way our width and height will dynamically be set based off of our monitor's width and height. Let's go ahead and run this program by typing Python space and then our file name. As you can see, it dynamically got my height and my width of this monitor and made it full screen. And up here you can see API GUI because we set the title earlier. Now let's go ahead and add a label here and a button to grab from the API. So let's create our label first and say label1 is equal to tk.L label open and close parentheses, and in those parentheses let's send in our GUI, which is window, and then our text, which is fun facts about cats. Let's go ahead and pack this by typing label1.pack. Pack adds the new row to our GUI. So now let's go ahead and add a button. We can say button1 is equal to tk.button with a capital B open and close parentheses, send in our GUI, send in some text, and we will say grab fact. After that, let's send in a command. We'll say command is equal to lambda. And the reason why we use lambda is because lambdas are throwaway functions. So let's go ahead and add a function name. We'll name this fact, open and close parentheses. We'll go ahead and send in our GUI window and our label 1. Now let's go ahead and create this fact function. So we can do that by going outside of our main function and type def fact, open and close parentheses, and in those parentheses let's send in our GUI as well as our label. Add a colon at the end, and let's type label1.config, open and close parentheses, and in those parentheses say text is equal to. Now we can send in our API call. So we'll call this API call, open and close parentheses. What this is saying is get label1 and change its configuration, specifically the text configuration, to the function API call. We need to create this function API call. Let's do that now, but before we do that, let's type window.update so that way our GUI can update dynamically anytime we click our button. Finally, let's go ahead and get out of our fact function and let's create an API call function. And in this API call, we're going to go ahead and get facts about cats. Let's go ahead and say URL is equal to open and close parentheses, and we'll send in the cat facts URL. Now that we have this, let's type response is equal to requests.get, and then we'll send in our URL. Now that we have our HTML response content, let's go ahead and change that HTML content into a JSON object. We do that by creating a variable name, so I'll say response JSON is equal to JSON.loads, open and close parentheses, response.text. Now all we need to do is return the JSON object. We can do that by typing return response JSON. We will also need to get the index where the fact is. Let's go ahead and save this and make sure everything is good here. I actually forgot one thing here. Let's type button1.pack, open and close parentheses. Let's save this, and let's actually make this font a little bigger. So we'll add a comma and say font is equal to, open and close parentheses, and in those parentheses, let's give it a value of 50. Let's save this. Let's go ahead and run the program by typing Python space and then the name of our file name. And as you can see, here's our fun facts about cats, and here's the grab fact button. Let's go ahead and click this button. As you can see, here is our fact about a cat. Now we don't care about this length here. So we know that the fact is our index. So let's call that fact index in our code. Let's close this and then scroll back up to the API call function, and let's go to the return response JSON, open and close brackets, and in those brackets let's go ahead and open and close quotations, and let's just send in fact. Let's save this and rerun the program. And let's go ahead and click on the button. As you can see, it's now only showing the fact about a cat. So let's grab another fact, and it's dynamically changing for us. What if we wanted to change the theme or the background of our GUI? We could do that. Let me show you how. Let me close this. And we could use the BG function. So let's go ahead and go after font, add a comma, and type BG is equal to, open and close parentheses, and we could send in black. And let's say FG for the foreground, or the font color, is equal to white. Let's go ahead and do that for our window as well. So we can say window.config, open and close parentheses, and in those parentheses let's say BG for background, open and close quotations, And in those quotations, let's send in black as well. So let's save this and rerun the program. As you can see, the background is black and the font color is white. Let's go ahead and grab a cat fact. And same thing, font color is white and background is black. One more time. So this is a little bit more advanced on how you can create a GUI as well as implement an API. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time.